Alright, so the final machine for this round of vacuums is a Simplicity Cinch, which I feel like the vacuum enthusiast community has completely forgotten about these, but anyways, these are what Tacony was selling to compete with, let's see, these would be about, I think they originally came out around 2007 or 2008, this is a 2008 model, serial numbers in I think 1200 range, so obviously pretty early model. Yeah, so this probably would have been competing with a Miele S500, Miele S5000. Oh shoot, actually, let me get something. Forgot the original nozzle that the vacuum came with when I found it. And that's so you can see that's a compact power nozzle, so it's what Miele would have, not Miele, it is what Riccar would have, Simplicity, I don't know, I'm just gonna, y'all probably know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's what Riccar would have been making to compete with the SEB217 nozzle, which I haven't really tried because I haven't gotten a chance to get my hands on a Miele canister in the last decade or so. But yeah, these are fine vacuums. They've gone under a few names, so the fanciest versions of these would either have been called the Riccar Pristine or the Simplicity Verve, and they would have come with the full-size power nozzle like that I currently have hooked up on there. Then, and the Pristine was kind of a light green machine, and the Verve was a really nice red color. I occasionally see the Simplicity Verve on my local Craigslist for about $100. It's really hard to not get it because it's just a great looking vacuum. In fact, my local vac shop actually has one just sitting in the windows, so maybe I'll make a bad decision one day and buy it because I don't really need another one of these. But anyways, so then you get the Simplicity Cinch like you're looking at here, which would have that nozzle on the right, and the Riccar equivalent would have been the Riccar Charisma. And then there's the bare floors only one, it didn't have an electric hose, so maybe it would have come with a turbo nozzle as well, but that would be I want to say maybe a Simplicity Jessie. Yeah, I think it was the Jessie, because the Jack and the Jill were the really small canisters, and the Riccar version would have been the Moonlight, something like that. But these were made by King Clean in China, from what I've heard, so I think they also make shark vacuums nowadays, but interestingly enough, you can actually still buy this vacuum under the Bank vacuum brand. It might have a different nozzle. In fact, I think it might actually be paired with a Wessel Werk. Am I saying that right? It's got the EBK360 on there, which I think it would probably be a pretty nice pairing, though I haven't gotten the chance to try that one. And I also found out that it was sold in Australia under the Werk label, which I think they have a chain of vacuum shops over there. And yeah, so anyways, this is a Chinese-made vacuum, but it's good. I don't necessarily think a vacuum's bad because it's made in China. It's just cheap to make bad vacuums in China, so that's why you see stuff like Sharks making their stuff there. But yeah, it's a good vacuum. Yeah, let me get on to the story of how I actually got this one though. So I was volunteering at a food bank at the time and coming home in the afternoon, and I stopped at a thrift store and found two vacuums that one of them, y'all are probably going to think I should have got this other one, but so I found this one. It was a Simplicity Cinch for $50, had the nozzle you see on the right there, and it was in pretty rough shape. The power nozzle didn't turn on, the buttons weren't super responsive that you see for the suction control. You can kind of see that glowing light right there. That comes on with vacuums, and you can hit those two buttons to raise and lower the suction. Kind of like one of the higher trim Miele's of the time. But the other vacuum there was a Hoover Z700, which is, I mean, that's a pretty, like, notorious machine in the vacuum community. I'm not sure if it's what killed Maytag Hoover, but it certainly didn't help. But yeah, I remember when those vacuums were new, they were monsters. They were being sold at Target, and I doubt they sold that well because, I mean, if you don't know what a Hoover Z looks like, I'll put one in the video. But the Hoover Z was like $45, and I was thinking, man, if something's wrong with this thing, there's not going to be much I can do for it. Can't get parts, can't get, you know, I mean, it's a pre-TTI machine. Not that I think TTI is bad, by the way. But, I mean, not necessarily, like, amazing either, but anyways. So, this machine was $50, and I was kind of wanting a good hard floor vacuum. Because I had I was using that Dyson that I showed off earlier, and that wasn't doing a great job, and I honestly didn't have a good hard floor canister. I had this, whoops, kicked the tripod. I have this Panasonic, like, MC2750 up in my attic, which is just a complete piece of crap. Not saying all Panasonics are bad, but in the condition I received that one in, like, the hose bends a lot, like, and cuts off the suction. It's just not that great of a vacuum. But this one, on the other hand, I was like, okay, so even if the power nozzle doesn't work, which could have been down to a lot of things, just because I didn't really inspect it that closely. Like, it looked like there was a little cut in the power nozzle cord, which, let me get the power nozzle. Because Riccar does this stupid thing where they put the power nozzle cord outside of the neck, which, I mean, I've seen someone try to justify it by saying, oh, you only need to replace the cord if something goes wrong, or you only need to replace the neck if something goes wrong, but I ended up having to replace the cord on this and the neck, because this thing is super cheaply made. This nozzle is garbage. Yeah. But anyway, so I wasn't entirely sure if the cord was the issue. It could have been the wand or the electric hose as well, because those are definitely failure points on some canisters. But I was like, hey, even if those don't work, I can slap a hard floor nozzle on there and I'll have a decent vacuum. And where's my hard floor nozzle? Yeah, I got one of these Wessel Werk RD285 nozzles. It has some squeegees for cleaning. There's no brushes or anything. I guess you got lint stickers, but that's about it. So anyways, I was using the vacuum for a few weeks with that setup, and it was working fine. And at the same time, I was also getting that power nozzle fixed. And because, okay, let me try and remember all the issues it had. Like, the base plate was cracked, the neck was cracked, the cord was broken. It was just, probably shouldn't have tried to fix it, but whatever. And what else? Yeah, so I got it fixed, and when I tried it out on my carpet, it turned out that it's not a very good nozzle. It's pretty weak. And I'd also gotten into the canister itself. So the canister itself actually wasn't in great shape. Okay, yeah, now it all came back to me. So the cord winder wasn't working totally right. It would slowly retract as you were using the vacuum, and the plug was kind of disconnected from the cord itself. You could actually see the two wires inside. You couldn't see the copper, but it didn't look that safe to be using. But I was still using it about once a week with some electrical tape on there. But the cord winder issue was kind of serious, and I decided to look around for how much a new cord winder would cost, and you really can't get parts for these anymore. Riccar's already moved on from from these kinds of canisters, the Pristine lineup and the 1500 and the like the immaculate and impeccable, the really huge ones that I think were made by Daewoo in Korea. This is a Chinese-made machine. I think I already mentioned that, but yeah, they like by the time I was working on this one, Riccar had moved on to their Prima machine, which I don't hear very many positive things about. But so, end of the day, it's hard to find the cord winder for these, and there is one place on the internet that has them, but it's like $90. So I kind of was thinking, like, this machine already has some issues. Like, I've mentioned the cord winder, but the suction control buttons were very like mushy and not very responsive. It's not a huge deal because the vacuum like defaults to max suction, so you can still clean just fine with it. But I'd also opened the vacuum up to like clean inside and kind of inspect the cord winder, and it like there were some like one of the screw mounts had broken off, and I ended up having to super glue it. In fact, a couple of them did. Because this vacuum, like, I doubt it's made as well as a Miele. I mean, you know, Riccar and Simplicity aren't Miele here. I think I mentioned that with the Radiance. Yeah, so I was looking around on eBay and I found basically an identical machine, like just the canister itself for like $50. So I was like, let's take a chance. Cheaper than buying a cord winder. And it turned out that the new Simplicity Cinch that I got was in way better shape. It even ran a little cooler, so yeah, so that's the machine you're looking at right now. I still have the other vacuum like in my attic, but it's probably not going to get used that much. Although I might use it for like just to show like how to like crack one of these machines open, because I don't know, there's not much, you never hear about these machines anymore, which is kind of a shame because I actually think it's a good vacuum. Yeah, so I was using the vacuum like just fine. Like, you know, it was running a lot better with the new vacuum just ran better. And I was like, okay, I kind of want to find out how good the power nozzle is, because I got rid of that like GE 2-motor home cleaning system that you probably saw in my old videos, and I didn't really have a good power nozzle canister, so I ordered one of the Simplicity nozzles off eBay, just a used one. And this was the closest color match I could get. I think this would have originally come on a 1500, but this is actually kind of an old one. Let me show you why. This one has a wood brush roll, and actually the base plate, I actually replaced the base plate because it was kind of corroded on the inside. Like, I tried to buy the nozzle that was in the best shape that I could, but unfortunately, like, you know, metal oxidizes and corrodes, so I just got a new base plate. It wasn't crazy expensive. So yeah, the original power nozzle serial number would date it, I think, around 2006, but this is a 2008. This bristle's got some pretty stiff bristles, and they moved to a metal bristle with later ones because I heard these wood ones had a tendency to burn out. So yeah, how am I going to demonstrate all this? I'm going to start with this nozzle, and I'll explain why later. So the power nozzle is very loud, but the vacuum itself can actually get pretty quiet. In fact, probably one of the quietest vacuums I own. So yeah, the Simplicity nozzle isn't super well made. Like, I'll kind of lift the camera up. You can see that it has a kind of a nasty tilt to it. It's cheaply made. It's Riccar. They tried, but I'm not sure if they really succeeded, like making fancy vacuums. But I'm not going to complain about this nozzle too much because of the next one. So I'm actually going to kind of show this nozzle off a little bit because as far as I can tell, there weren't really any YouTube videos like that really go into detail on this one. But this is the Taconi compact nozzle. Yeah, so it feels like it has kind of rubber wheels. Very good. Nothing wrong with that. Has a squeegee for bare floor pickup. You know, I think this would have been sold to people who were like, who would have been living in like an apartment or something and just had a few like area rugs and stuff. But you have a very thin brush roller compared to the old one. Bristles are on the softer side. Oh, y'all can't see it that well. It's hard to tell, but this vacuum actually has like black and white alternating bristles. So the black bristles are pretty stiff, whereas the white ones are kind of soft. But the reason I don't like this nozzle is because it's like super cheaply made. Like, I think I already told y'all about like how many parts are broken on this, but honestly, like the handle release on this one is the cheapest feeling one that I've ever dealt with on a vacuum. Like, I'm literally afraid it's going to break when I try to pull this down. So, let's hope that that doesn't happen. But unlike the Miele head, and I guess I'll also go for the EBK 280, this one does actually stand up on its own, which is nice. Oh god, that is awful. Oops. So, all things considered, it actually did a pretty good job of picking this stuff up. But, I don't know, I don't really find much use for this nozzle except maybe for cleaning stairs over so often. Although, I guess it's easier just to get a turbo tool for that. Actually, yeah, let's put a turbo tool on the vacuum. Watch it pick stuff up off the chair. But that nozzle was pretty quiet, which, I mean, that ain't a bad thing. Oh wait, actually, there was something I was going to show you, because there's a high probability that I'm not going to be able to get this wand off without the power nozzle without a screwdriver. So let's hope we're lucky. Yeah, but you can kind of see that pulling the wand out of the power nozzle causes this to come loose. And to get it back in place, you have to take this plate off with a screwdriver and reseat it. So that would be very obnoxious if you were a cat who decided to walk in the middle of my video. No, yeah, that'd be obnoxious if you were dealing with that on your vacuum on a day-to-day basis. Alright, so let's try the same with the turbo tool. I actually didn't get the turbo tool for this one. For this vacuum, it was kind of interesting trying it on another one, but yeah, so this one is a Wessel Is that, God, that feels wrong. I don't really have any familiarity with the German language. Yeah, this is a Wessel Werk PT160. It has a color here, and you can pop that off with like pressing that button and like prying it off with a flathead screwdriver. It lets you fit it on a 32mm fitting and a 35mm fitting, depending on which color you have. So, whoa, yeah. One actual problem that this vacuum has is that, oh, let's see if you can see that, the strain relief broke because of the strain, I guess. Now it just kind of sits on the hose, so that's annoying. But this vacuum's actually got some nice features. Let me get it in frame. Like, it's quiet, the cord's like a decent length. It's, I think, about like 25 or 26 feet, which is, combined with hose length, that's enough to get about 1,000 square feet if you plug it in a central area. It's got a full 360 swivel on the base of the hose. Yeah, it's got a full 360 swivel on the base of the hose and on the and on this as well. So that's nice. I don't even man, I don't know if any vacuum manufacturers have that these days. I think like Miele fixes the swivel on the canister end. Sebo kind of has it fixed on both ends. I could be wrong though. I haven't really tried a Miele or Sebo canister out much as I'd like to. But yeah, this would have been a fine vacuum to buy at the time. Can't really go wrong with one of these. But let's watch it clean some stuff off a chair. Alright, did a pretty good job. Obviously it would have been better just to use a normal upholstery nozzle. The brush wheel doesn't really help with this kind of stuff. So I'd forgotten to record this in the first video, but I did want to show off how the RD285 performs when paired with the Simplicity Cinch. And one nice thing about this vacuum that I don't think you see on like any other canister to my knowledge is that if you look closely, it's the little docking point is actually on the wand instead of the hard floor tool itself. So that means that if you get a third-party floor tool, you can still dock the vacuum, or if you've got like a dusting brush on the end of the wand or something, like it's no big deal. So let's clean with the vacuum. I bet it's gonna do a pretty great job. Yeah, that did a very good job. I like that RD285 a lot. It's really maneuverable. It's got rubber on the bottom in the wheels so it doesn't scratch the floor. So yeah, I got mine for about like 25 bucks, which is a pretty good deal. They're going for 35 bucks on Amazon at the moment, so I think that's still a fair price. But yeah, so that's all the vacuums for now. Been recording for about an hour. So next video we will, yeah, I'll probably break this up into 2 videos, but next time I'll be showing you the vacuums I've gotten since June 2021. So, see you later.